Do you support CalCare, California having its own state-run single-payer system, yes or no?
Is that a question?
Sure, go ahead.
As I said, when I was Secretary of Health and Human Services, I was able
like
to...
my
So
time
is that,
back.
is that,
Oh
is
my
that,
God.
is that a more about the
Hello, welcome to the channel. Today's video is about the California Gubernatorial Debate, specifically the candidate position on healthcare. I will be analyzing their performance. Ensure you watch till the end to see my verdict on who performed the best and who performed the worst in this debate. Please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comment section.
healthcare crisis in America? Millions of people are dropping insurance coverage after Congress allowed Obamacare subsidies to expire. In California, new enrollments are down 32%. Becerra, in late March, you said you'd, quote, deliver a state-run, publicly funded healthcare program for every Californian. But in a recent meeting, you reportedly told a group of doctors that you are not supporting single payer right now. So which is it? Would you push for single payer as governor or not?
Alex, let's be clear. I've been consistent for over 30 years. When I was in Congress, I talked about how Medicare for all is probably the most efficient way that we can do healthcare, and I have always been there. I haven't changed. And so those reports were inaccurate. I continue to be for Medicare for all, and I can show you how I have actually expanded healthcare because those very subsidies that you mentioned are what help us reach record levels of Obamacare coverage. More than 24.5 million people under our watch were able to get their health insurance coverage. That is now going down because Trump has denied people the chance to have those subsidies. And the Republicans and Mr. Hilton, who has been endorsed by Donald Trump, haven't said whether they would fight to help those Californians regain their coverage. And so, Steve, will you support having those tax subsidies for Obamacare returned to those Californians who are losing their insurance today?
We didn't get an answer.
We're gonna first of all, I just want to clarify real quick, and then we'll get you guys in. So, as governor, you're pushing for a single payer system in California?
We should try to get to a Medicare for all program. And while we are continuing to work in that direction, we should make sure we are expanding coverage, because the most important thing we have to do is give people peace of mind that they can afford their health care, and that we will continue to give it to more families.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Steyer.
Look, I am for single payer. Absolutely, because the only way we can deliver health care as a right at a cost that California can afford.
Chad and Hilton are normal, and what ass
with
cheek?
them this morning. They know that I will fight for single payer until we get it. And maybe those reports were wrong, Javier. But the truth is, the group you are with, the California Medical Association, is the strongest group against single payer in the state, and they just spent the maximum amount of money. They maxed out to your campaign after that meeting. So somebody didn't understand something, because they are supporting you with the max amount of money that they can give.
Secretary Becerra responds, then Congresswoman Porter.
Yeah. So a guy who is funding his campaign to a tune of over $150 million with profits made from oil companies, from helping fund private for-profit prisons that are detaining immigrants in California, has a real short memory span of how to make sure this place works. I continue to enjoy the support of healthcare sectors throughout California, doctors, nurses. I've got the endorsement of nurses as well, and I will continue to fight to make sure everyone has access to good quality healthcare in California, as I proved it when I was Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Congresswoman Porter.
Well, golly gee, I also have the endorsement of nurses, so three's a crowd. The question, I think, is trying to aim at, do you support CalCare, California having its own state-run single-payer system, yes or no?
Look at Katie Porter's posture. This is textbook prosecutor style. She isn't just asking a question. She is setting a political trap. She forces a binary choice, yes or no, knowing that a frontrunner hates being boxed in. I'm giving Porter an A for setting the tempo of this entire segment right out of the gate. Let's see how he handles it. The strategy. The aggressive prosecutor Porter's objective is to force a clear, undeniable wedge between herself and Becerra on universal health care. She needs to lock him into a corner on single-payer, CalCare, to capture the progressive base. The execution. Porter executes a textbook political trap. She looks directly at Becerra and demands a binary response. Do you support CalCare, California having its own state-run, single-payer system, yes or no? When he tries to pivot, She doesn't let go of the bone, acting as the debate referee and calling out squirrely dodging. Tactical score A. Why? She successfully generated the segment's sharpest conflict, framed herself as the only uncompromising healthcare progressive, and made the frontrunner look defensive.
Is that a question?
Sure, go ahead.
As I said, when I was Secretary of Health and Human Services, I was able
like
to.
my
So
time
is that,
back.
is that,
Oh my
is that,
God.
is that a yes or a no?
I'm answering the question.
Okay.
So the most important thing about having a Medicare for all plan is that it includes everyone, for all. And what we have to do is get to the point where we are covering everyone with something like Medicare for all. So I am absolutely for Medicare for all.
Congresswoman.
And we will get there. We'll build towards it because that's the way you get folks covered. That's the way I did it.
Congresswoman Porter, then Mary Ragosa. Congresswoman.
Covering everyone with something is not single payer. It's not even federal Medicare for all. But you won't say that whether you support California having its own state-run single-payer system. Look, Tom ran against single-payer in his presidency before he changed his mind and has decided to run for single-payer. I'm not disputing that, Tom. I'm making sure everyone knows. And you've been consistent on this point. You've been consistent.
I'm going to answer that.
But I want Javier to answer the question. Do you support California having its own single-payer system? Yes or no?
And Katie, the answer there is that Californians don't care what you call it so long as they have affordable health care that they can use to take their child to the doctor or the hospital
Well, I'd
when
like
they
to use
need
my
it.
magic wand and give everybody affordable health care.
That right there is the classic frontrunner pivot. Notice how he never actually says yes or no to state-run CalCare. He tries to talk about national health care because it's safer. But in a California debate, that feels evasive. Porter actually calls his answer squirrely right after this. I'm grading Becerra a C+ here. He didn't have a catastrophic meltdown, but he looked incredibly defensive and gave his opponents a massive opening. The strategy, the defensive frontrunner/safe institutionalist, as former Federal Health and Human Services HHS Secretary, Becerra wants to rely on his resume. His goal is to survive the pile-on without alienating moderate voters or committing to a fiscally volatile state-run system that has repeatedly failed to pass in Sacramento. The execution, when pressed by Porter, he attempts a classic political pivot. Californians don't care what you call it, so long as they have affordable health care. He tries to mirror Gavin Newsom's safe territory, advocating for Medicare for all at the federal level while remaining non-committal about the state budget picking up the tab. Tactical score, C+. Why? While he avoided a disqualifying blunder, the execution felt overly cautious and squirrely. By trying to please everyone, he gave his opponents ammunition to label him wishy-washy on a core progressive issue.
It's Mary Ragosa's turn. Go ahead, sir.
You know, I believe in that healthcare is a right, not a privilege, that it should be universal, affordable, and high quality. But the fact is, Javier, I've been in enough forums with you where I've heard you say you're for it, and I've heard you say you're against it.
I've never said I'm against it.
Hold it.
I've never said it.
Let me finish. I've heard you say that you're against it.
And if it's such a
great
forum
first
that I
of
said
all,
it in.
can I finish?
If you could just point the forum that I said it.
The guy in the, over here.
$100 billion price tag. You need the federal government. You need Donald Trump to approve it. Our budget is only 350 plus, and next year we're looking at $18 to $35 billion deficit. People like you are the reason why we keep on spending more than we got. So at the end of the day, let's be clear about this. This is pie in the sky. Yes, we all would like to have health care that's affordable.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
But we won't have a $550
Secretary Becerra, your
billion
response to that argument that this is just too expensive for California. Your response.
Look, healthcare is expensive, but what we have to do is reduce the cost and expand the coverage to everyone. And that's what I did as secretary. They can ignore those points. They can lie about them. But the fact is, by the time I left the secretary position at HHS, we had expanded coverage to more Americans than ever in the history. And we had dropped the cost of care for millions of Americans under Obamacare. And those are facts.
It's $550 billion price
Mr.
tag.
Hilton, to you, the idea of single-payer health care.
Just listen to these Democrats arguing about whether to go left
Fox
or
News
even
contributor.
further left when that's the direction that's got us into this mess. The highest cost, the highest taxes in the country. I'm the only person here with actual experience of single-payer healthcare, both as a patient and as a policymaker. As a patient,
Just take more
it nearly
vitamins.
killed me. That's another story we don't have time for. As a policymaker, you end up with the worst patient satisfaction, cost that you can't afford, taxes sky high to pay for it. It is a total disaster. And the actual way we deal with healthcare in this state is to at least stop spending $20 billion a year on free healthcare for illegal immigrants who shouldn't even be in the country in the first.
While the Democrats are fighting a civil war over who is more progressive, the Republicans just played their best card. Bianco and Hilton didn't get bogged down in the CalCare argument. They waited for the topic of taxpayer money and immigration to strike. By highlighting the state's massive budget deficit, they're speaking directly to independent and moderate voters who are worried about their wallets. It's a highly disciplined, unified message. I'm giving the Republican bloc a solid B for reframing the debate around fiscal reality. The strategy, the common-sense taxpayer shield, the Republicans aren't fighting for the progressive vote. They're speaking directly to moderates and conservatives terrified of tax increases. Their goal is to frame a state-run healthcare system as an absolute fiscal disaster. The execution. They use the second half of the segment, the debate over state-funded healthcare coverage for low-income immigrants without legal status, to draw a massive partisan line. Bianco calls the expansion ridiculous amid state budget deficits, while Hilton pivots the entire healthcare crisis back towards state mismanagement and costs. Tactical score, B. Why? They let the Democrats bicker among themselves over the ideological purity of single-payer for the first few minutes, then stepped in with a highly disciplined, unified message focusing strictly on taxpayer cost and fiscal reality.
Oh
And
my
he's
God,
referencing
here
his
we
time as a
go.
UK citizen before moving to
The
California.
immigrants.
Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, once again, we're hearing a lot of rhetoric at the extreme ends of the political spectrum here. When the secretary left his position, healthcare spending was a bigger share of GDP than ever before, pushing families to the brink. It's an administrative nightmare, as everybody knows if they've ever tried to get an insurance claim filed. We're not talking about the real issue here. And Antonio's right. All the candidates who are fighting for single payer don't know how to pay for it, and they're not being honest about it. The reality is our healthcare system is broken. 30% of the cost in California is an administrative cost. We can use technology to bring down those costs.
This guy wants to put nanoprobes in your butthole.
We are not incentivizing health.
The fucking tech
we reward
oligarchs.
fee for service, more procedures, more
This is a
prescription
crucial
drugs.
strategic
We should
move by
reward
Steyer.
doctors
In
and health
politics,
systems
when
for
a Frontrunner
making
is
people
wounded,
healthier.
Thank you, Mr.
smell
Mayor.
blood
Mr. Steyer,
and
this
you
next
strike.
question is for you.
Steyer doesn't try to fight
It's
politics.
on
He
the same
aligns with
topic,
her
so you can
to
use
tag
some of your
team
time for that.
Becerra. By giving a
In
firm
last
yes,
year's budget,
he
Governor
immediately
Gavin
positions
Newsom,
himself
cut
as the bold
healthcare funding for
progressive
undocumented
alternative to the
immigrants to
cautious
address a
Frontrunner.
budget gap.
It's smart,
As governor,
aggressive,
would you
and
restore
well
that
executed.
funding?
Steyer gets a B+
I believe everybody in
for
California has a
capitalizing
right
on
to
the
health
moment.
care.
The
But
strategy,
the truth of the matter is,
self-funded
it
populist
is eating
position
up
just
our
behind
budget,
Becerra
and
in
it's
the
more
polls.
than that, Alex.
Steyer needs to
It is
show
eating
he
up
has the
every
teeth
single
to
family.
fight
You
in
talked about how
person,
many people
not
are
just through
giving up
multi-million
healthcare
dollar ad
so they can make
campaigns.
healthcare so they
The
can make rent.
execution.
You're talking
Steyer
about
smelled blood
businesses
in the
that
water
can't compete
after
because
Porter's
healthcare is so
opening salvo.
expensive.
He
And it is
immediately
eating up the
aligns with
budget of
Porter
the
to
state
tag
of
Team
California.
Becerra,
When people sit
attacking
here
his
and
lack
say,
of commitment
let's do
to
the same
CalCare.
thing, we
He
can't afford to do the
successfully
same thing.
raises his
It is
progressive
eating up our
profile
budget. Look
by
at the numbers.
firmly
That's
committing
why
to
I
the
changed
policy,
my mind, Katie.
using his
Because I looked
financial
at the facts.
independence as proof that he
Single-payer
isn't
healthcare
beholden
systems
to
cost
insurance
half as
lobbyists.
much as the system
Tactical
in
score,
total
B+.
that we have now.
Why?
And yes,
he rode
it's
Porter's
going to be
coattails
a big,
effectively, applied maximum
job
pressure
to get
on a
us to single
Frontrunner,
payer. But the
and looked
truth
like a
is,
fighter.
we don't have a choice because right now people are suffering. They're giving up health care. Every medical crisis turns into a financial disaster. The truth is, we don't have a choice but to go to single payer, and you need somebody who's going to fight for it.
But
And the person who's going to fight for it.
Why do they cost less, though?
To
People-
Clarify, Mr. Steyer, on the question of health care for the undocumented.
I said
Becerra is a Newsom.
You would has a right to health care. And let's answer
California
this
should
out.
fund
Did you
The truth
die?
of the matter is, immigrants built this state. Immigrants make this state run.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, we had a broken immigration system, and now you want to victimize the people who are working here and making the state run.
Thank you,
As
sir.
Antonio said, try and get rid of them. You can't do it.
Let's go to Sheriff Bianco. Your thoughts on this idea of undocumented health care funding?
It's ridiculous. When are we going to draw the line at any other crime? It's illegal. They entered the country illegally. We're not going to incentivize them to come here to take more of the resources that regular Californians aren't getting. The ones that are struggling here, that are here legally, they're not getting that. They're not getting free education. They're not getting free medical. They're not getting free food. They're not getting all of those things that the illegal ones are getting. And we're somehow celebrating that when the legal immigrants here don't get that. It makes absolutely no sense. And healthcare, no one's talking about, how about we try and make people healthy?
So,
What?
Congresswoman Porter, your thoughts on the idea of funding health
With
care
what?
for
Fucking
undocumented
raccoon
immigrants
penises
statewide?
and whale cadavers?
Yes, and
that's, by the way, what I think Californians deserve as answers to these questions, Alex.
And for critics who say that we can't afford it, what do you say to that?
We can't afford to have people who are sick, who are making the rest of us sick. When
She's got a
anyone
point.
doesn't have care, when anyone doesn't have care, the rest of us are at risk. When people don't get vaccinations, when they don't go to the doctor, they
Universal
wind up
health
in the
care for all
emergency room.
Americans.
They cause longer lines for the rest of us. They make our healthcare system, they push it to the brink. And that was exactly where we were when we expanded healthcare and health coverage to make sure that everyone can be healthy. The direction that got us into this mess is Democrats catering to big pharmaceutical companies and big insurance companies, which
And
Mr.
quickly,
Becerra has taken
quick,
$2 million from in his career.
Oh, damn.
And still won't give us a yes or no answer on where he stands. Every other candidate on the stage gave an answer on single payer, and it was clear he's the only one who won't. And to me, with healthcare on the line, that's disqualifying.
Thank you.
Secretary Becerra, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, first, immigrants, whether documented or not, work hard. They pay taxes, and sometimes they get injured on the job or their children get sick. It would be foolish to tell a family that they don't have access to the pediatrician or the family doc, or not be able to use the community health center where it wouldn't cost us so much to give them access to good health care. Instead, what will happen is that child will get so ill that they will have to take that child to the hospital. And what door do they enter? The most expensive door in the healthcare system, the emergency room door. Why do that and spend so much money when you can do it up front? And so, yes, let us provide the care to all the people who work hard and make California
Secretary Becerra.
Segment winner, Katie Porter. She dictated the entire tempo of the healthcare block by forcing a direct yes or no dynamic. She put the frontrunner on defense, commanded the stage, and solidified her brand as the sharpest policy populist in the race. Segment loser, Xavier Becerra. As the former top health official in the country, this should have been his home turf. Instead, by attempting an overly managed defensive pivot, he allowed his rivals to paint him as an evasive establishment politician. What do you think? Is my analysis correct? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe for more.